Hey everyone. So last night I was writing down some of the common scales, or common and uncommon scales for a dominant seventh chord. And obviously I could have written down like the chord tones for a dominant seventh chord, or like subsets of a dominant seventh chord, or smaller kind of pieces of a dominant seventh chord. But I'm kind of starting with these, 6 to, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, basically 6 to 8 note scales that work with a dominant seventh sound. And dominant seventh chords aren't my usual go-to as far as what my ear gravitates towards. And so through this journey of practicing formulas, one of the things that practicing formulas does is it introduces new sounds to your ear, which will expand what you can hear and what makes sense to your ear. But so far in this new journey I'm on of going through all the formulas again, is I'm kind of starting with some of the more common stuff, and at least that's kind of the phase I'm in right now. I haven't been practicing as much as I would like, but I'm slowly starting to develop a better routine with it, I guess. Anyways, so I thought I would just pick one of these and kind of talk a little bit about, how I might approach it, or the benefits that you get from doing this, and I don't know, just kind of talk about it with you guys and share the journey. So one of them I have listed here is the whole tone scale. And, you could, just a little side note here, one of the things that's kind of cool about thinking in terms of formula is you don't have to use the common names if you don't want to. I know Alan Holdsworth came up with some of his own names for certain scales. But, just the idea that you could call, so the whole tone scale is, exactly what it says. It's built in whole steps. If you just go whole steps all the way up or whole steps all the way down, that's the whole tone scale. And it works with a dominant seventh chord. Let me actually, before I do the formula thing, let me record a C7 chord here. Just real bland, just to get it in your ear in case you're unfamiliar with it. But let's see. Yeah, I'll stop there. Yeah, so it kind of has a an eeriness about it. That sharp 5, no natural 5. It kind of has that. That like sharp 4 with a sharp 5. There's a lot of details to get into with that, but anyways, that's kind of the sound of it. And the 4-fret exercise, which is at the heart of formula practicing, in a sense. You know, again, like, will break you of any patterns. And the whole tone scale, you know, I mean, very pattern oriented in terms of, you know, you can run things because it's a symmetrical scale. So the 4-fret exercise will help to break you away from that kind of sensibility, that kind of pattern sensibility, which again will just help you to be more creative with it. So I'm going to pick a random key and a random 4-fret zone, and I'll practice it with the metronome. And I don't know, let's see. It really doesn't matter. I mean, that's kind of the beauty of practicing this way, is you get to a point where it doesn't matter what part of the guitar or what tonality or what key or to some degree what tempo, or you know, some tempos, every tempo has its own challenges, but with 4-fret practicing, generally you formula practicing, you want to kind of have hit a wide range of tempos as you're practicing it. Well, let's see, how about E flat here, and hope you can hear this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, as usual, I can hear all, you know, there was moments of hesitation, and again, I'm still getting used to doing it in front of the camera, and blah, 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 blah. But yeah, so in this zone here, I mean, I really can't rely, not really anyways, on any patterns. You know, I'm just accessing it again by my knowledge of what functions are in that tonality. 1, 2, 3, flat 5, flat 6, flat 7, or more commonly the functions would be 1, 2, 3, sharp 4, sharp 5, flat 7. In the formula world, everything is flatted. There's no sharps to keep it kind of clean and consistent. But I still find it useful to kind of think of like sharp 4 or sharp 5, depending on what tonality I'm exploring. Yeah, so let's see. How about pick a different key, pick a different tempo, a little faster maybe, and how about the key of G at the 5th fret zone? 1, 2, 3, 4. I went outside of the zone there. Yeah, so there's G whole tone at 112, and yeah, it's always a challenge, you know, because it's such a limitation, and you know, getting to where the limitation, you know, basically it just again just forces you to be creative. And so that's an important part of developing yourself as an improviser, is creating limitations. I mean, in music, as we know, there's already so many limitations. You know, the instrument you play is a limitation. How many strings you have, or you know, whatever it is, the tempo, or you know, on and on and on. There's a lot of limitations. So we're putting even more limitations on it by saying this zone right here is the instrument. And the idea is to make great music within that limitation. Whatever you're given, however many notes, however many frets, however many fingers you're using, the idea is to figure out how to make great music with it. And I'll continue to talk about ways to kind of work on that and get better at it. As you can see, I'm working on it myself. You know, it's a never-ending process, right, to get better. But yeah, so it's a great exercise, and I recommend it to anyone that's interested in developing themselves as an improviser, particularly in a way that might be more personal. I mean, you could, I'm going to probably embarrass myself here, but how about the 11th fret zone, key of A, 3, 4. Yeah, I was gonna. I failed miserably there. I was gonna try to play in a more bluesy way, but it didn't happen. It just wasn't what I was hearing, and very often it's not what I'm hearing, because simply I'm not a blues guitar player. I'm influenced by the blues. I love the blues, particularly Albert King and Stevie Ray Vaughan, but love all the other guys too, like Freddie King. I'm not a blues musician, you know. I just don't come from that, and but I like it. And there's a little bit in there. I mean, at the beginning there was kind of slightly some of the blues inflections a little bit. But main point though is just this idea that you could take the 4-fret exercise and work on it in a jazz way, or in a metal way, or in a Latin way, or in a country way, or in a blues way. You know, you could attach an idiom to it. But to me, it's almost like, if that's really what you want, if you're really like, yeah, I want to be a really good flamenco guitar player, then you would, and you were interested in doing that in a more improvisational way, and you wanted to expand your tonal landscape and palette, and you wanted to improve certain areas of your musicianship in an improvisational way, then this would be a great exercise to do, and you could say, okay, I'm going to do it like a flamenco guitar player. But to me, like, this is a really nice opportunity to get into thinking outside of idioms and genres and styles, and just to try to make some music happen that you're hearing with it. And you know, that obviously takes years to develop that. But yeah, you know, just kind of talking here about some ways that you could practice this stuff and think about it. And yeah, I'll continue to share the journey. So right now I'm just kind of focusing a little bit more on dominant 7th sounds. And I didn't really talk about these ones down below that are in brackets. But I was kind of thinking like the blues scale, with, like, I have the blues scale with natural 3. And so like something like that, taking the blues scale, something that's labeled blues scale, and not doing it in a blues way, but doing it in a way that's like, again, just maybe something a little more personal, that's not as easily labeled. And to me, that's really exciting to know that that's possible with music. That you aren't limited by what has already been done by genres, styles, and idioms. What other people have figured out. But anyways, yeah. So those were kind of the last three there in the brackets are kind of like blues variations. You know, that whole you know, that minor third with major third kind of sensibility with the flat. With the flat 5 and the 4. You know, those common functions that are found in combinations of functions that are often found in the blues. Yeah, anyways, yeah, so just exploring dominant 7th sounds, trying to get them to feel more personal and to feel more connected to those sounds. Because, to be honest, like a lot of dominant, not all of them, there's a couple that don't strike me this way, but a lot of the dominant 7th sounds, particularly like Mixolydian and the blues scale and the pentatonic scale, like they sound a little corny to me. A little cheesy. Just even the sound of it sounds kind of corny to me. So I'm working on that. I'm working on developing it in a way so it feels like, again, just I'm more connected to it. And if I'm more connected to it, then it won't feel so cheesy. I think it's just because we've all heard that so many, you know. That sound, that sensibility, you know, it just seems kind of not exciting to me. Anyways, all right, I'll stop there. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks.